But Ben, let's get into all seriousness. This is watching from Ringside, as we were talking about, is a pro wrestling show with
the only pro wrestling show on KXVS.
Or in Stockton.
Or in Stockton, yes.
Yeah, come tell us if you're somebody else.
The premier podcast.
Yeah, the premier podcast of pro wrestling talk in the Central Valley is me and Ben, and it's fun. So we talk about the world of wrestling from our perspective and give you the latest going-ons of what's going on in the world of wrestling, right?
Yep, WWE, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor.
All In
NXT.
too.
Yeah, and All In.
Which is brand new.
Brand spanking new.
So we're going to
change the face of wrestling as we know it.
We're going to break down all of that throughout, well, whenever we have a show. So I'll tell you what, Ben.
What?
Watching from Ringside Fridays on KXVS, the voice of Stockton. For Ben Sanchez, I'm Dustin Brightfield.
KXVS 92.1 coming soon. KXVS.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, the voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Welcome to Watching from Ringside. I'm Dustin, and that's alongside the one and only Ben.
Hi, Dustin.
Hey, Ben, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. How's your week been?
Busy, very busy.
Doing a lot of challenge mode stuff. Huh?
A lot of challenge. You know, challenge mode is chill mode, really. You know, everyone loves challenge mode because it's super chill conversation. Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of great conversation this week. You can go and check them at KXVS. The voice of Stockton. Of course, we have a challenge mode Facebook. If you're on Instagram, we also have an Instagram page, challenge MOD3, for those that want to check that out. So you can find, a lot of content on our posts on Instagram. You can find all of our interview content on KXVS and our Facebook page. Well, I'm slowly updating the Facebook page as we go, but KXVS has all our videos, which is awesome. And, we had Eric Lofholm, international master sales trainer, who was nice enough to give us a call and chat with us on Wednesday. Yesterday we had the phenomenal Dr. Christopher Schlanger, who is a local chiropractor. He was doing some great stuff. So we had a lot of cool people in the booth this week.
Yeah, we have. And let's get to some news though.
Because this is Watching from Ringside, baby. Come on. Let's do it. Oh, you got to reach over and click this and tap that.
Yeah, I do have to do that. But yeah, it's been a wild wind. I don't know how to say that. Whirlwind week.
It's been a whirlwind week, baby. It's a tornado. I'm coming
trying to
through.
Steal my Dusty gimmick, aren't you?
Yeah, I could do the ladies man if you like, and that would not be gimmick infringement if you do like the ladies man.
The ladies man or Dude Love over there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, dude. I don't know if I could do Dude Love.
Dude Love was actually a really great character. Mick Foley came up with.
Yeah, that was very well. Mick Foley was a busy guy, right? He had Cactus Jack, he had Mankind, he had Dude Love,
and then he had Mick Foley.
Yeah, and then he had Mick Foley.
So really 4 personalities.
Yeah.
But let's get to it though. We'll get to some news in a little bit, but let's go to what is happening this weekend. And we'll recap what actually happened on Monday and Tuesday first. It was go-home editions of Raw and SmackDown. Some news and notes from Raw. Let's start there first. My news and notes were Renee Young filled in for the coach doing commentary, which was really good. Me and Ben are big Renee Young fans because she puts work ethic in there.
Yeah, Renee Young is fantastic because she really had this incredible background through communication and, public speaking. And she's just moving and grooving. I felt like at first when she kind of got in there, I don't think they really knew what they were going to do.
She was basically a brand new interviewer person.
Yeah. But they played her strengths, and it's great. She's gotten pre-show work. She had the how did her guest announcing go on Raw?
To me, I watched some of it. It was really well received, and a lot of people liked it because, well, it's Renee Young, and a lot of people like to hate on Coach. So
yeah,
yeah. So
Yeah, no, and it was cool because the same day she was a guest announcer, Dean Ambrose came back, which was the huge news.
Get to in a second because the lunatic returned. But let's get to some other big things from Raw. Well, Ronda Rousey opened up Raw. She first did that, giving her condolences to Natty, Natalya Neidhart. R.I.P. to the Anvil, Jim Neidhart, who, if you think about it, if you look about this famous picture was floating around this week of the 1997 Hart Foundation, and you had Brian Pillman, you had Jim Neidhart, you have Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, and you had Owen Hart, and all gone besides Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Bret Hart was the only one left in that photo after this week.
Yeah, when I was coming up into wrestling, I didn't really watch a lot of the classic stuff. I mean, I had, seen the guys. I saw more Bret Hart because my buddy was a Bret Hart fan. So I saw more of his single matches. So I didn't really get to see Jim, perform in the ring. But the promos I have seen, he was amazing. Really cool guy for his time, like the promos that he cut and the crazy laugh, that. And
then you had really Brett clean it up. Basically, let me tell you what Anvil's saying.
Yeah, and that was cool. And I actually watched a lot of Owen Hart too, and just a lot of phenomenal guys.
And Owen was great with Jim when Jim came back in the late 90s.
And so it's it's unfortunate what happened. Of course, Natty kind of said some things on Twitter, and of course our condolences to
her
the family.
And TJ, and as she was doing that, Ronda was giving her condolences. Alexa Bliss and Alicia Fox showed up to ruin that, and basically Alexa cut a promo about how, again, Ronda's a rookie, so sit back and go to the back of the line.
Yeah, so we're kind of seeing this like in multiple storylines, kind of repeating the same things, like when Orton came out and cut his heel promo, I feel like the next week he was kind of saying the same things. We're seeing the same things here with Alexa and kind of just a retelling of it. I don't know if it's because maybe they're not sure that certain audiences aren't keying in on it. I kind of wish they would develop the storylines a little bit more. And kind of get past those things. I mean, it might be interesting for Ronda's response as, you keep playing the same rookie card over and over again. And, of course, Ronda's going to maybe prove her wrong. We'll see. Not much development here, really, storyline-wise.
Nope, and Alicia Fox fell in for Mickie James, who's out injured right now. So she's going to be in Ronda's corner probably this week, and Alicia Fox will be in Alexa's corner. Be interesting to see if Natty's back on SummerSlam Sunday.
I don't think so. I think Natty, is going to have some time off.
Then later on in the show, we had Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman had a meeting in the ring, which ended up Paulie giving the swerve to Roman by spraying pepper spray into his face, and Brock showing up giving the F5 to Roman, and we had our go-home moment for the Universal Championship, and Paul Heyman swerved everybody with all these promos.
Yeah, Paul he's the master manipulator, right? He the week before he had that interview with Renee,
which was great.
Yeah, I mean it was.
People were saying give him an Emmy.
Yeah, give this guy an Emmy. This guy, put on an amazing
He
performance.
cried.
He cried. He had tons of emotion in there. Really had, and Renee's great at that too when she's interviewing, right? With her body language and things like that. She's very good at.
People don't know Renee Young has an acting background, sort of. She did a lot of improv comedy in Toronto, and then she transitioned into the TV side, basically showing up asking for a job, and she did that for a while at the Score in Canada.
Yeah, so I think the chemistry between the two is great. Paul Heyman just was on point. Like you said, he swerved everyone, and you had that feeling of, I think they're gonna. And that that's
come to an agreement, Roman and Paul.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's great about wrestling is when you can get those moments in, when you can get the audience to be right along with you emotionally and believe it, then all of a sudden, boom, you can turn it on them. And Paul's great at that. So this was fantastic. It was a good go home.
And the pepper spray was kind of unique too.
Yeah, that's different. That was different. It was like, I mean, Paul could have done a lot of. I'm glad he went the pepper spray route because I've seen way too much storyline where people are
putting their hands on Paul.
You know, low blows,
Yeah.
right? It could have easily been a low blow, and I was like, I've seen that far too long in storylines.
And Brock shows up.
Yeah, and so that was cool. Definitely a very good development here going into the SummerSlam match.
But at the end of Raw in Greensboro, the biggest pop of them all. So Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler. But okay, it starts out with Kurt Angle inside the ring, then Dolph and Drew coming out to basically have the contract signing. Kurt Angle first cut a promo on Brock Lesnar, which was interesting again, because maybe Brock's going to be leaving, but why is Kurt doing a promo on Brock? But then Dolph and Drew come out, and then Drew and Dolph cut a promo about how basically Dolph basically kind of said what Randy Orton said. I've been here for a while, and I put my heart on my sleeves for the universe, the WWE universe, and I get no return from you guys, so I decided to be selfish and team up with Drew McIntyre, who basically had his back turned on by the universe and got fired.
Right.
And came back.
Yeah.
And then a couple minutes gone by, Drew cut, it was about a 3-minute promo from Drew and Dolph.
Yeah.
Then Seth shows up and was like, well, I didn't come to Greensboro alone. I have a friend. And, well, you might be a psychopath, Drew McIntyre, but I got myself a lunatic. And you hear the music.
There it was, and then you got the huge pop, and of course, you know, I'm a huge Dean mark.
But it's not the same Dean as we saw last time.
It isn't. Dean has really, and you know, this is the thing as wrestlers, you always kind of want to find different ways to reinvent yourself. So Dean went with, you know, a different hairstyle look, and of course, he's definitely been putting in work in the gym because he's a lot bigger.
Somebody said like
last time.
Dean Ambrose went to Planet Fitness.
yeah. He went. He definitely, you know, has changed the look. He's got a new shirt. He's in shape and he's ready to go. So, you know, they ran out, walked right into the ring,
shaved head,
cleaned house. Yeah, you know, he hit the double underhook DDT on McIntyre. Right.
Yeah, and it's gonna. I thought that was the perfect way to end Raw.
So, that was a great. It was a great way to end Raw
because for a go-home show.
We haven't seen Dean in a long time. We know Dean's definitely a fan favorite.
And we talked about a couple of weeks ago. What's going to happen with Dean Ambrose? Is he showing up at SummerSlam or something? But nope, he showed up at the go-home edition of Raw.
So this really changes the dynamic of things, right? Because so that match. You know, Rollins versus Ziggler will now have Dean on the outside
with Drew McIntyre on the side.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we're not. I'm not sure what could happen here. Obviously, you can continue the storyline with Rollins and Dean. Of course, you know there's past history there because Rollins was the one that broke up the Shield, backstabbed him years ago. And, of course, they had that storyline between them when they kind of pushed them back together. And it was kind of the friends, you know, don't trust anybody kind of thing. They were always watching each other's back. Rollins was playing the nice card, you know, I'm not going to turn on you.
And Seth's a babyface now.
Yeah, so now it's turned around. Seth's out of his heel storyline. He's more pushed as a face. It's interesting, right? Now all the Shield members are faces again.
Yeah, and so could we see a switch this weekend?
Maybe.
And that's what has me thinking with that Universal title, though. Dean Ambrose, we haven't seen an interaction with him and Roman yet, so
right, and I've always
he's been a past champion.
I've always loved Dean as a heel. I think his best work is when he's a heel. I feel like I say that a lot about certain wrestlers, but they really like his best work. If you looked at the Moxley character and then transitioning into Ambrose, his best work has always been heel work, and he had really great stuff in the FCW with Rollins back when Rollins was. Was he Rollins? Yeah, I think he was still Seth Rollins. But yeah.
So I gave that go home edition of Raw A B. It wasn't that bad of a.
Yeah, I mean, nothing crazy, but nothing. But definitely the last few moments of Raw really picked it up. I think so that really helped. Overall with what was going on with the stories, into SummerSlam for Sunday. So. That's definitely both of those guys are amazing workers, right? Ziggler and Rollins. I'm really curious.
There's no better, probably like.
Yeah, there's nobody better
endurance wise.
Yeah, and so I think that match will really stand out.
And they've put classics on so far in the couple matches they've had. So let's go to SmackDown, which is the wrestling show.
The wrestling show,
as fans would say.
The entertainment show.
So Charlotte, Becky, and Carmella talked about an upcoming match. The Queen, aka Charlotte, called Mella a diva, and then Mella tried to get Charlotte and Becky to have a kind of falling out by saying, "Becky, are you upset with Charlotte being in this match?" And Becky was stating, "I'm not upset. I'm just upset that I have to beat both of you now," so basically. Ooh. So it's going to be interesting to see. Got that little diva comment, which is interesting.
Yeah.
With the whole evolution, but Carmella's running with it.
Well, yeah, your girl's running with it right on Twitter. She's sitting, and getting wined and dined on.
And she could have instantly quick promo in the ring when Charlotte. I don't know if they wrote this beforehand, but Charlotte was basically calling her a diva. Then Carmella was like, "Yeah, I am a diva. That's right. Look at me. I'm better looking at you, better looking than you. Basically, I don't know what else she said, but basically, you're also jealous because I'm the champion."
Oh, yeah. I mean, and this is great, right? This is great all around. This storyline's been really kind of interesting.
And I think Carmella has to get her due, too, for this, because she's the one that's helping.
Well, you're just a Carmella mark.
I am, but she's doing good.
Yeah.
So far as the champion.
Right.
But,
and, of course, the cool thing is Becky Lynch is creatively found a great way to storytell through Instagram.
Yeah.
So if you follow her on Instagram, she does several little Instagram stories on... If you happen to miss any of this on the wrestling show SmackDown, you can catch the little bits, and she's really clever at how she's coming up with these.
So that's the match. One match I'm also looking forward to this weekend. Then let's go to AJ and Samoa Joe.
Yeah, good old Joe in a suit. How about that?
Well, I'll get your take on the second from that, but that's the go-home edition of SmackDown. But Joe cut a promo on AJ, and it was interesting. Ben, tell the audience what the promo was kind of from Joe about.
So I happened to catch this promo, and it's really interesting. Joe's in a suit, which it's kind of unusual for Joe.
He did it a couple times in not NXT, but TNA.
TNA, and it's the Joe we're not really used to seeing. He cut the promo from the ramp, top of the ramp. AJ's in the ring. And, he reads off this letter that he's got in his hand. And so a bulk of the letter is, story-wise, you feel that this is coming from a fan. Because there are key words that are written in this letter that make it seem that way from the narrative perspective. In that, as he's reading it, I lost faith in AJ, or different. There's different words that were.
He's not home, basically.
Yeah, and he's and it really alluded to the fact that AJ is too focused on wrestling to spend time with his family.
He's been WWE champion for a really long time now, or SmackDown champion. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have this promo that Joe's reading from, and so fast forward to the end. It was Wendy Styles, right? And so, boy, that really got AJ, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to go after Joe. Everyone's holding him back.
And this is interesting because these two know how to put a story together because they've been together for so long.
Yeah. And I like this because the promo that Joe cut before in the ring talking about, and I'm surprised they went with a family thing, but of course they've already gone with it, so that's fine. And he was just sitting on a bar stool in the ring. I was like, it didn't really push us anywhere, but this week it did. And he really kind of was just, it was kind of a gut punch to AJ, right? And so AJ's great, and if you watch him now, you can see all these, body language is everything, communicating through facial expressions and different things that you're doing. And AJ's so great at this for a storytelling perspective. So, yeah, I felt that this was really strong going in because Joe played it at a different angle. And maybe that's why he wore the suit and, cutting a promo, reading off everything from a letter. So it's kind of easier to cut a promo, right? Everything is written there for you, and but just how he delivered it was also very, very key in this storyline. So it was great. I think this is good. This is a match I'm looking forward to. Joe and AJ, I've seen them in the past These guys can definitely go, so I haven't seen them yet. This will be good. First time in WWE Universe, right?
Yep, and I also would probably give this a B, kind of go home show.
Yeah, I feel
stood out.
It's about the same. That was really the stand. I feel the Becky Lynch kind of storylines was a little stronger, but of course, that's going to be a great match too. Really, all of these are going to be key matches because the fans are really behind Becky Lynch. And the insertion of Charlotte is interesting from the friend angle. So it's going to be interesting to see how when these women perform. Because a triple threat match, anything can happen, right?
And they've probably worked this out. They probably all went to Orlando and were at the Performance Center working with Fit Finley and trying to go through this match.
Because one thing I have a feeling that may happen is that...
Asuka?
No, I don't think Asuka. I think if it just sticks with a triple threat match, you've got Carmella, who is... obviously she gets a lot of flack for her performance in the ring, right?
But she's improved she's improving.
And she's definitely improved and she's really solid. But from a heel perspective, you can see that maybe at some point she knows that she's going to get teamed up on, and then you just play to the strengths of a heel role. If you get tossed out of the ring, you stay out of the ring longer.
And something happens between Charlotte and Becky.
Yes, and that's probably what she might be hoping for, is that something happens between Charlotte and Becky, and those two really go at it, so she'll have an advantage later to get the cover. So this is one of the matches that we want Becky to win, but I'm not necessarily sure if she's going to pull out the W or not.
And it's weird. All of them have their own roles. Becky's the babyface, Mella's the heel, and then Charlotte's kind of the in between.
Charlotte to me has always kind of been a tweener, right?
Yeah.
She's a great babyface, but she's also
and
great
she's
heel.
You could also hate her because she's so good.
So she really kind of, and obviously we use tweener as a term because it's really walking that thin line of heel and babyface. You're not really one or the other.
It's kind of like your dad, Ric Flair. People love to hate him, but he's good.
Yeah, and so it'll be interesting to see if Charlotte uses any of those tactics she learned from her dad in this match, right, against her best friend.
If Carmella has help also, the Iconics are out there. Speaking of that, let's get to some other news.
So that's an amazing segue because the Iconics are really huge news right now in the Twitterverse, right?
Yeah, and I think since they've been called up the roster right after WrestleMania, they've shown their worth and what they've helped out the SmackDown brand women's division a lot. And Peyton Royce is the one that's kind of everybody talks about because she could cut a better promo than Billie, I think, right now. But they've been an NXT duo for a while, and they've basically been friends since wrestling school. And this all has to go with I don't know if everybody knows who Dave Meltzer is. He's probably the number one wrestling journalist, I would say. Some people call him dirt sheets in the industry. But when you have a microphone and you have opinion, you have to be very careful sometimes of what you say. And I'm going to read to you, this is from August 9th, the Wrestling Observer Radio. This is a transcript of Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez. They do a wrestling, basically, radio podcast show.
Yes.
And this is what Meltzer and Alvarez had to say. And I'll say this, I'll let you know who this is, and then I'll let you know who the other one is. So this is Meltzer. So I thought the Iconics had a thing in NXT, but on the main roster, I don't get a thing out of them. I don't think the promos are really good. The wrestling isn't good. I think even Peyton Royce's transformation to look more attractive. I don't know. I don't want to say. Then Alvarez says, she was more attractive on NXT. Meltzer says, I thought so. Yes, to me, yes, I would say that, but I would say so, but that's neither here nor there. Alvarez then says, no one is saying she's unattractive by the way everybody. And then Meltzer says, I know, blank. I didn't say that at all, but she doesn't stand out to me. When she was in NXT, she did a lot. She was a lot lighter. So that brings up the comment of body shaming, and that's kind of been something that's been going on for a while in entertainment world.
Right, and especially in the wrestling world too, right? Because here you are,
and this woman's quote unquote women's not divas anymore,
right?
Yeah,
women's evolution and with the movement that's happening with women in wrestling, it's been happening for a long time, and of course, before social media, before podcasting, before all that, it's huge now. You know, the digital media has really changed the way we communicate. So, from my perspective, from a PR perspective, this is.
And you want me to read the statements though from Peyton and Meltzer real quick before we do that?
Before we go into that, I'll read.
So this is from Peyton Royce and Dave Meltzer's Twitter.
This is all on Twitter, so she responded.
So she said, "So what would you have me do, Dave? Period. Starve myself? ? Then she did. I believe it was a duck emoji face. 3 of them. This is how nightmares for young women start. The females in your life must be proud." Then Meltzer says, "I'd like to apologize to you. You're exceedingly attractive woman. I do realize that lengths and pressures on women in entertainment world to maintain unnatural looks at times. I'm glad you pointed this out." So I don't even, what as a PR thing, would you call that an apology? Because he's saying he's sorry. He's been saying he's sorry because he's got backlash from everybody.
I feel like Meltzer's apology was it was on the right track, and then he just took it away, right? Instead of and we've run into this a lot, right? I feel like this week is just like professional etiquette week because there's other things that are happening in our community that are going on too. But for this particular instance,
and he carries weight. Let's be fair, Dave Meltzer.
No, from a PR perspective,
he should know better.
Meltzer has an influence, right? And I believe someone on Twitter even pointed that out. Another wrestler.
I think it was Tyler. Who's the one that works for Fandango? Tyler Breeze. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's one.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, well, somebody.
Yeah, and so that's the big thing on Twitter, and for me, when I look at this, it's like, yes, as a public figure, you have a lot of people that listen to you. I have a lot of people that watch you. You have a lot of people that read what you say. So yes, Dave Meltzer's been in this industry for, a long, long time.
Since the 70s.
Yeah. And so, yes, he does have an influence, and you, as a writer, as a journalist, need to think about these things. So obviously, when he was on the podcast, he didn't think about these things. And so that's what happens. And of course, it's recorded, so people take that, and then somebody broke it into a little snippet and put it out on Twitter.
Yeah, you could edit audio.
Mm-hmm. And so here we are. So, was it the right thing to do? Well, you should have apologized the right way. And he obviously couldn't do that.
And this happened, 2 weeks ago, basically? August 9th?
So, for the recording?
Yeah, for this recording.
Yeah, for that recording, it was August 9th.
That was a couple weeks ago.
And, it started popping up on Twitter this week.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people came to the support of Peyton. A lot of wrestlers definitely gave, their support too. I've seen both of them at a live show. I've never actually met Peyton or Billy, but I've seen them perform a live show, and I was like, I recognized these girls before, and so that was my first time seeing them live, and I thought they were fantastic in NXT.
And the speculation is that Peyton Royce has changed her looks. Basically, she had a breast augmentation, and Dave Meltzer was saying, basically, I guess she doesn't need it, but you're a journalist. You don't have the right to tell a performer or somebody what they should do with their body, and well, and she can do whatever she wants.
Well, and that's the thing is you don't know, right? It's all speculation. Yeah. So as a journalist, you need to take these things into account
before you say something.
Yeah, unless you're actually interviewing that person. He's probably never talked to Peyton before.
She's not one of his minions.
Right. And so, in that situation, if we were to gauge it as far as good PR and bad PR, that's terrible. Like, why would you make an apology and then, say those comments afterwards?
He just put Peyton Royce over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you look bad. And, that's that. Now your credibility is kind of going to start to downward spiral, right? Your listeners, your viewership, things like that.
Speaking of that, I don't know if people know, but Eric Bischoff's not the biggest Dave Meltzer's fan. The former head of WCW, the former Raw GM, fictional GM. This week he also tweeted out, well, I'm a fan of Peyton Royce now. So
and that's the thing. When a lot of things are going on in the industry, all eyes are out there. Yeah. So everybody, even though may not be as active in the industry as they used to be in wrestling, like they still were influential. They still, like Eric Bischoff still knows his his name carries weight, right?
It's the only guy that beat Vince McMahon for 83 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so with that and the podcast world and things are
Podcast,
really huge there.
Like Starcast in a couple weeks. And
These are learning lessons, right?
Yeah.
They're all learning lessons. It would be an interesting.
But yeah, Meltzer should know better.
Interesting thing to put a case study together to follow. The data, I would love to follow the data of Meltzer to see how that affects his followers, to see how that affects his subscribers.
Yeah,
right?
Wrestling Observer, which is the biggest wrestling newspaper magazine in the world.
So yeah, and like people have said, like others have said, this leads to bigger things, right?
Yeah,
it's not just about. It's more than that. You have to think of bigger picture. If you've talked to Alexa Bliss or you've read any of her interviews. Alexa Bliss had an eating disorder, right?
Even Addie Neidhart had one.
And so there's people that have these issues, and it's a very very dramatic thing, right? You know, there's other people that have these things too, and I know Alexa has really gone and been an advocate for that to help support other, younger women that have those issues too. So again. Meltzer not being a good journalist at all.
And it's going to be interesting to see what happens in a couple weeks at Starcast when Meltzer shows up between some of these
because the fans are very passionate now. The fans are very involved in engaging and interacting more than ever before.
And I give this to Meltzer. He engages with fans and people on Twitter, and he's always on there and talking to them and answering the questions. But this is a backlash. You could say sorry all you want, but once you have a face-to-face meeting with Peyton Royce, it's not going to go away.
Well, he should have said sorry the right way.
Yeah.
So, like I say, it was just kind of like a half-handed sorry, and then he just totally.
You're in journalism. You should know about PR a little bit.
Yeah, he should have totally obliterated it with his comments after. So, yeah, it's going to take more than that now to win it over, but. It brings up valid points, and it brings up a key point in that influence is huge. Whoever you are as a public figure, you should always be keying on messaging, right? Just like we've had other people come in on our show that have talked, and they know they have influences, right? Whether it be music, whether it be art, they're very aware of those messages they put out there. So they're actively thinking and doing PR, and they may not know it. So yes, unfortunately, Dave Meltzer, it's going to be a rocky road down the next few weeks leading up to Starcast, right?
Yeah, before we get to Brooklyn, let's get to some other news and notes that happened this week. All in, some more announcements were made for the Budget Battle Royal.
Yeah, so you've got Billy Gunn added to that. And
how old is that guy now, like 50-something?
I don't know.
Still in great shape.
But that's very cool because Billy Gunn was a cameo on one of the Being the Elite episodes a couple weeks ago, and they kind of joked around with him, and of course you saw DDP in that cameo as well. A lot of cameos for that YouTube episode, but cool, very cool. They got Billy Gunn along to be a part of this. I think this will be great, and the Budget Rumble is what they call it.
Yeah, the face Jay Lethal.
Yeah, and so you also have Brian Cage out of Sacramento area. I saw him, on a lot of PWG DVDs, so he's really done a great work, and so it's awesome to see him to be on this card too in the Budget Rumble, and so obviously the winner of that is going to face Jay Lethal for the Ring of Honor Championship. So I don't know, man. It would be nice to see a big guy, Cage, go against Jay Lethal and see how that pans out.
In Chicago, would Colt Cabana get over? Yeah, him and Jay's had a pass.
Yeah, I'm
just saying.
Yeah, and then you've got Billy Gunn too. A couple of contenders in that Budget Royal,
and more announcements to be made later.
Yeah, of course, and of course we're ordering that. You can order that on if you're part of the Honor Club for Ring of Honor. You will be able to get that for All In on September 1st. Also, if you don't
Fight TV?
You go through Fight TV if you can't get it through the Ring of Honor Club. So a couple different ways to get that. If you want to buy it, $40, I think that's fair for what they're giving you. They're giving you a lot of great matches. I mean, Okada and Skrull Kenny Omega.
And a non-wrestler also, too, and Stephen
Oh, yeah, you
Mill.
have Christopher Daniels and Stephen Amell.
Yeah.
But you had Kenny Omega was a big announcement, right? Did
Yeah,
we talk about that?
I don't think we did. It was after our show against Pentagon Jr.
Pentagon Jr. And you called that, didn't you? Didn't you say?
I said that there's a couple names we haven't heard about.
But one of the names you mentioned was Pentagon Jr. So this is
he's getting over a lot, really quick.
Yeah, if you haven't seen his work, check out Lucha Underground.
And he did a couple things at Impact lately.
Yeah, he's been at Impact a few times, and just an amazing high flyer, right?
Yeah, and before you said New Japan, and that got me interested in our final news note and a thing that's rumors going around. Our good old friend Chris Jericho, the master of reinventing himself.
Yes, and
basically said this week, 2019 free agent.
Free agent Jericho. So the speculation is now that with Ring of Honor and New Japan coming together for this huge show at Madison Square Garden in 2019, April 6th.
And Jericho has roots in New York.
And Jericho is a free agent. I would have to say that Jericho is somehow going to be involved.
His dad played at MSG with the Rangers in hockey. He's always loved wrestling there.
And is it fair to say that this is the very first other wrestling organization
he's worked for?
No, that's been in MSG, right?
For a long time.
Yeah, because we haven't seen anything since the 60s, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
It's always been WWE at Madison Square Garden.
And there's also reports that WWE is going to try to make run at some of these big ROH and New Japan guys to fill out the roster upcoming. So that's making ROH and New Japan kind of worried about what they're going to do for this show.
I don't think they should worry. They sold out. We're good. That's the great thing is that there's some wiggle room here to get whatever you've got in order for that show. You got plenty of time to book it out. But yeah, Jericho doing the little teases here and there, and of course he's got his.
He's doing a Kevin Smith movie too.
Yeah, I saw that. He finished. He just finished filming, I think.
I think so, yeah. He just wrapped it.
So there was a picture.
Cameo.
A picture of him on Twitter. He'll be in a Kevin Smith film upcoming. He did some work there. He loves those guys, and that was awesome for him to be a part of that. Also, he's doing the cruise, too. Your boy is setting sail, right?
Yeah, I think another announcement this week, Johnny Mundo's going to be on there.
Really?
Yeah.
And of course, isn't Johnny Mundo here?
Mundo.
Yeah.
At Stockton Con, taking over for Christian.
Yeah. So for those of you Stockton Con goers that are wrestling fans, Christian, had to call out, couldn't make the appearance, so they got Johnny Mundo to come in
from LA.
Mm-hmm. So he's going to be here on Saturday.
I think, tomorrow.
I think it's Saturday only.
Okay.
Sting is Sunday only. So you've got Johnny Mundo and his girlfriend. I
think his girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah. What's her name?
I forget.
Valkyrie something.
Maybe.
Yeah. I haven't really been following Johnny too much since he left. I know he's done a lot in Lucha Underground, which is kind of where he's at, and then of course Impact. So yeah, he will be here Saturday for sure. Definitely, maybe one of the guys to check on. And, of course, Stockton Con's huge. That starts at 10 o'clock on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 2-day event, Saturday and Sunday. So if you haven't gotten tickets, you can still get them. You can get them at the door. We will be there covering Stockton Con, of course.
Yeah, we will. As KXVS will be.
Mm-hmm.
But
that same day is also NXT Brooklyn 4, right?
That's what we call a segue bin.
Yes.
So the NXT card tomorrow night from the Barclays in Brooklyn, which
Huge.
It's the fourth one in a row. Because SummerSlam's always in Brooklyn now, it seems like.
I feel like this might be the best NXT show this year.
Really? Because that one in New Orleans was pretty good.
I know, but this one has this card is huge.
It is.
And let's cover the card.
Let's talk about one match we can talk about is probably the only non-championship match on this card, and that's EC3 versus Velveteen Dream. And have you seen the promos lately between these two? It's been unique, but these two can work, and it's going to be fun to see because they're two different styles.
Yeah, EC3 is he's a big guy. I feel like he's more of a power guy. Velveteen, I think, is a little more flexible for a tall. He's really agile for a tall guy, huh? Mm-hmm. Really, like definitely a some high flying in there. This is great. This really kind of sets it up for EC3's push, I think.
You think so?
I think so.
You think Velveteen's still young? Too young?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got a lot of great storylines going, but they need to start kind of building, giving more momentum to EC3. He's kind of been there, we know who he is, where he's coming from. They kind of did the same thing they did with Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
Bobby Roode's out there and in suit, he's attending shows. They're kind of keeping the same storyline formula, and then he gets involved a little bit. He starts cutting promos, and EC3's had some matches now. I feel like this EC3 should win this to help kind of propel.
Is Velveteen kind of like the guy they'll give somebody and say, like, let's see what he got, let's see what he has in NXT, and we'll give him a push maybe?
Yeah, but Velveteen's got a strong following, right?
Yeah.
When I saw him at NXT, he was still figuring that out.
He's only,
right?
what, 22, 23?
Yeah, he's only like 22 or 23, and he was really still trying to figure out his character. And so he was coming out to the Prince thing, and I want to say he wasn't even Velveteen Dream yet when I saw him. And then I saw him, transform into the Velveteen Dream and really cut these amazing promos. And, that match with Ricochet was amazing.
Yeah, match of the year candidate right there.
Yeah, it's definitely a match of the year candidate. If you haven't seen it, check that out on NXT. That pay-per-view. That was a New Orleans pay-per-view, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely one to look for. But yeah, so it's Velveteen Dream and EC3, no title, just just a straight kind of storyline, a lot of trash talking as usual.
What if it was Velveteen Dream that attacked Aleister Black?
I don't know. That was just,
they kind of had a thing not long ago too. They had a program,
maybe, and of course there's still
speculation out there, which
on
we'll get to at the NXT main event. But let's go to the tag team championship match for NXT. Mustache Mountain, Trent Seven, and Tyler Bate from I guess they're NXT now. They're not part of NXT UK. Versus the Undisputed Era of Roddy Strong and Kyle O'Reilly, which I think this also could be a match of the night candidate with these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Roddy Strong and Kyle O'Reilly who, are really strong. They're amazing wrestlers. I've been watching Roddy in Ring of Honor for a long time. Love his heel work. He did some babyface stuff. Definitely one of the most surprising things that happened in NXT over the past year, when he turned on Pete Dunne and aligned himself with the Undisputed Era.
I haven't seen Pete Dunne since.
Yeah, we haven't seen. Well, Pete Dunne's just doing he's doing his stuff in the UK, which is cool. But I think they wanted to do that maybe to push Roddy even further and to align himself, because like NXT lost Sanity as a faction, so we don't have too many factions. Undisputed Era, I feel, is the one major faction that we have in NXT. So yeah, and of course, it's great. All these guys have amazing chemistry. They do, great little video promos on social media. Yeah, I'm looking for Kyle O'Reilly and Roddy to keep the belts. But I know you love the
they're actually really good together. Trent Seven, Tyler Bate. They were part of that tournament last year in the UK, but they've become a tag team now. But yeah, I look for the Undisputed Era to win, but I think Mustache Mountain, it's going to be a rivalry for a little bit. Speaking of Undisputed Era, let's go to the NXT North America.
Pete Dunne somehow shows up, right?
Yeah.
Because he is. Those guys were on the UK.
And remember, there's one more member of the Undisputed Era.
Bobby Fish.
Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
So he'll be ringside probably.
Yeah, we still don't know what's going on with Bobby Fish. He's been injured. When he comes back, I'm sure he'd want his spot back as a tag,
Let's go to the NXT North American Championship. Ricochet, who's kind of working with injuries right now, versus the one and only Adam Cole, the leader of the Undisputed Era, who actually made his debut last year at this event.
Yeah. Great debut for Adam Cole. This is
attacking Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, this is going to be a good a match as well, because both of these guys can, Ricochet is a fantastic performer. And Adam Cole, such a great heel. You got
that classic look too.
Yeah, you got that classic heel look. You got the classic heel tactics from Adam Cole. There's been a great build up for this, and Ricochet is he's got the fans behind him. He's just a huge baby face right now.
And Adam Cole could adapt with anybody.
Yeah,
and Ricochet can actually do it too.
Yeah, no,
nobody knows that, but yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not really sure how this is. If this is a more fast-paced match, it goes in favor of Ricochet. If it slows down, I feel like Adam Cole will get the advantage. I feel like Adam Cole's more of the technical kind of submission wrestler here. But Ricochet, he's all over. Like you never know what's going to happen, where he can hit you from. So. Definitely another I mean, this card is so stacked.
And then you have Undisputed Era that could probably get involved too.
Yeah, they definitely could interfere. So we'll see what happens there.
That's the most intriguing matchup, I think, of the night.
I think so, because Adam Cole really hasn't defended this belt.
No,
right?
not really. So it's going to be interesting to see.
And so it's time to get in the ring and defend it. So, yeah, if I had to make a prediction, I really would like Ricochet to win it. But I have a feeling that Adam Cole's going to do something to cheat on this one.
Or could we see another debut during this match? So
yeah, you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
And that's what I like about NXT. You'll find more surprises on the NXT product than anywhere else.
Yeah. So then let's go to. I'm going to say Adam Cole gets the win and
gets the W.
Gets the W and retains his belt. Let's go to the Women's Championship. Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler.
So that's going to be another great matchup. Do we see a title change here, though?
Yeah, I see a title change.
Really?
So I'm a mark for Kairi. So, I definitely... They've been building this up for a while, and Shayna's had this belt for quite some time, and nobody... the build-up in the women's division is nobody can touch Shayna, right? She's a big bully. She's beating people up. She's... intimidating people in the back rooms. She's on a streak right now. Nobody has contended for the belt, and she's doing really, really solid in her heel role. Kairi's a babyface, no doubt. I can't see she's too cute to be not. She couldn't be a heel, so her babyface work is fantastic. As we've seen over the past couple of weeks, is that Shayna's interfered in a couple of things. She's beat up Candice, who's, one of Kairi's friends, totally, and even after she won, still, choking her out. So Kairi came in, tried to check on her friend. Shayna, kind of getting her kicks in. And so this week we saw Kairi in a match, and she dropped 3 elbows, like 3 diving elbows on her opponent.
Wow.
Crazy. So really, Shayna doesn't think Kairi has what it takes to beat her aggressive-wise. But Kairi can be really aggressive. And don't forget, she's, Japanese wrestle, strong style. She's a very great technical wrestler, very fast. So, again, it's... As we're going to see kind of a repeat in the Mae Young Classic, if Shayna can hold her down with submissions, she may get the win, but Kairi has the speed advantage. She has the agility. She has the high flying. So she's got to use those tools in her kit to win. I pick Kairi for the win here. I see a title change.
Actually, I agree with you. I see an upset here, but I'll give him a prediction later. I think something might happen, but yeah, I see.
Unless there's interference, but the thing is they've built it up where Shayna doesn't have any friends.
Yeah.
She has no friends in the women's division, so I don't see anyone coming out to help her. I do see Shayna trying to maybe get some extra hits or cheat somehow when the ref is not looking, but I feel like there's going to be a title change. And if there's not, I don't really know, because that storyline kind of continues, right?
Mm-hmm. Let's go to the NXT Championship Last Man Standing match. Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa, who is the champion, and we get the trilogy, probably going to be the final.
This is it. This wraps up the fantastic storyline of friend versus friend, right? Guys that came up together, guys that trained together, they wrestled together,
tag team champions together,
and they were tag team champs together, and such great wrestling packages put together for these two over the course of this trilogy, and Ciampa's heel turn and everything that's happened since then. There was some great storytelling there involving Johnny's wife with Candice getting hurt and involved in storylines. And, now we have it. We saw some great stuff from them. We saw this amazing street fight at the last pay-per-view. which, you know, definitely is a candidate for
in New Orleans,
a match of the year for sure. I mean, street fights, you don't get to see them too often, right? Because of the PG content, but I feel like NXT, we can kind of see
a little
those.
different.
Yeah, we can see those unfold. So now it's a last man standing match. Oh man, it's tough because I feel like Ciampa's on such a good roll as a heel, and I'd love to see him just keep the title. I think I'm looking for Ciampa to retain here.
Same.
Unless something happens. I just don't see Johnny really coming over on top of this.
I don't think Johnny needs a title, to be honest. I think he's one of those guys that doesn't need a title.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Daniel Bryan. I know everybody likes to compare those two together.
Yeah, but they are great comparisons because they're both really great workers.
Yeah, but I think Johnny doesn't need the title. I think Ciampa wins, but that sets up in the future who attacked Aleister Black.
Right, and that's still the unanswered question that might come up at this pay-per-view,
and some are saying it's Johnny because of what happened with the belt situation.
Some there was speculation that it was Candice.
There's that's out there too.
Even though Candice was Kyrie at the coffee table.
So yeah, we don't even know what's going on in the future. But I think Ciampa retains this title, and in the future we see something him versus somebody like a EC3 or somebody like, I don't even know who to say, but there's also a lot of candidates out there. But I think Ciampa wins this, and maybe even Johnny can get called up. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but. There needs to be payoff with this Aleister Black stuff.
Yeah, so
he'll be out for a while.
Yeah,
also.
so we'll probably learn throughout this match at some point, storyline wise, is who attacked Aleister Black to make it, because obviously before, as we let you know a week or so ago, it was a triple threat match.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole storyline that's playing out with Aleister Black is somebody attacked him, which I thought was great storytelling, great footage that
Rikishi.
they did. Yeah, I did it for The Rock, right? And that's what they say. This storyline parallels very much to that Stone Cold one in the 90s, right? With him getting hit by a car.
Yeah, he had to take some time off due to an injury.
Yeah, so the storyline there between The Rock and Austin, they feel like that storyline is very similar to what's going on here. And they're playing it up very well, and I'm very impressed with I'm always impressed with the NXT storylines. I feel like these are more engaging. And of course, the NXT audience is always really cool, right? It's very intimate. It's very smaller setting.
Very young. It's very hip. It's
very energetic. If you ever get a chance to go to an NXT live show, go, because it's very, very fun.
So yeah, we both said Ciampa will win, and it's I can't wait till tomorrow night to see that matchup.
Yeah, so tomorrow we'll after Stockton Con, we're gonna check out the pay-per-view. We'll get the results to you, and kind of tell you how things unfolded.
We'll do some maybe live updates.
Yeah, we might do some live watching. You might get our reactions. Maybe we'll record a little bit in the studio.
But then on Sunday, SummerSlam. Man, SummerSlam's always the number 2 show for the WWE now.
Yeah, I feel like it. I feel like we're gonna get so much cool stuff tomorrow that Sunday is just gonna be
another
flat,
letdown.
Huh? I hope it isn't, because there's some really cool stuff going on, with Becky's storyline.
I think this is the best card in a while for a pay-per-view besides WrestleMania.
Well, because we got Joe and Styles, and we've got Rollins in there too. We've got
Dolph, yeah.
Yeah, and of course you still have Daniel Bryan and Miz.
Mm-hmm. Which we haven't really had a payoff yet for what happened with the Talking Smack stuff, but and past stuff with them. But let's start with that. So it's actually going to start at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time because of the pre-show, the kickoff show.
Yeah. I feel like these start earlier and earlier, and you're like, oh.
But the main show starts at 4 p.m. But on the kickoff, this is what will be happening. The B Team, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, will be taking on the Revival, which is an underrated tag team up on Raw right now. I believe that it's for the championships on Raw. So who do you see winning that one? Do you think the B Team still retains it?
I think the B Team still retains. We haven't seen enough of the Revival for that to even make a difference. And that was the surprise, really going in when the B Team took the titles. I think that kind of surprised everybody. It was like, oh, wow, they beat Matt and, his buddy, right?
Yeah, Bray.
The Eater of Worlds, right? So, yeah, I think they're going to retain. I think. I just don't... I think this is just one of those filler matches on the pay-per-view. So yeah, that's my pick for that.
What a fall of grace for Rusev and Rusev Day. Rusev and Lana are taking on CN and Vega in a mixed tag team match, and that's going to be interesting because Rusev was challenging AJ Styles not so long ago for WWE Championship.
I don't know what happened to this, and all of a sudden it was Joe and AJ, which is great.
They probably needed a filler.
Yeah, and so here's just I feel like this is just kind of another one of those matches they just kind of put together. A mixed match tag is cool. I haven't really seen Vega wrestle, so I don't know how this is going to go.
Cien gets over,
You
and
think
I think
Cien gets
Aiden
over?
English interferes in that match, and that starts a feud between Rusev and Aiden English.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could definitely see, because Aiden's kind of been doing
on the outskirts because
of
Lana.
Yeah, with the whole Lana storyline, right? Yeah. So yeah, I could see that working, and of course, Cien is relatively new to SmackDown, right? Still.
Former NXT champion.
Yeah,
which was he was his era. His reign was really underrated, I think.
Yeah, I think so too, and I've seen him perform live as well. I think this would be a great way to just push him, get him over, and then have Rusev move on to Aiden.
Then from 205 Live, Cedric Alexander versus Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight Championship in 205 Live.
What's going on with 205 Live?
Right?
I feel like
somebody's what's his name? Maverick.
I feel like it's just kind of lost its spark since so many key people have left. Since Neville's been gone, Austin Aries is out of there.
It's back on Impact now.
Yeah, I don't know about 205 Live now. It had a potential to be, a really good show, and they've had some strong runnings with it, but it's just kind of floundering right now.
Oh yeah, so I think Drew Gulak gets the win. I don't know.
I mean, and they're really not doing a lot with Cedric either. I'm surprised Cedric.
He's been through a lot of storylines too.
Yeah, he's kind of been all over too.
That show's just a mess.
Yeah, I mean, at that one, it's either way. I don't really know who gets the W at that one.
Then let's go to the main card. Here's the matches, about 11 of them, I think, close to there. The Bludgeon Brothers versus New Day for the tag team champions on SmackDown.
I'd like to see the New Day kind of make a comeback and kind of get over on these guys. But at the same time, the Bludgeon Brothers have been doing really well too. And I like them, right? It's Harper and Rowan, right? Yeah, I think Harper and Rowan have been doing great since they've left Bray Wyatt. I mean, I wish they were together longer.
Harper's a good singles guy too.
Yeah, and Harper, a lot of people don't know Harper's really underrated as a singles guy.
Yeah.
He was doing a lot of great work before he got with Bray Wyatt.
Great interview too.
Yeah, so I would like to see New Day go over on this, but I feel like the Bludgeon Brothers are still have great momentum, so I think they're just going to keep the belts. I think they're going to win.
Yeah, I think they'll keep the win, but yeah, New Day, something's going to happen with New Day. Either Sanity shows up again, or something. But yeah, the Bludgeon Brothers are on top right now. Then we got Finn Balor versus Constable Corbin. These two have fallen from grace for some reason.
Poor Finn
in the
Balor.
WWE
I feel
stock.
like he's just in the mid-car hell right now.
Ever since that whole injury with Seth Rollins.
And losing the belt. And the belt he never really lost, right? Because he just had to give it up because of the injury. And I feel like the only reason Corbin would go over is because he's reinvented himself and they're doing something different with this character. But I'd hate to see Finn lose.
And Corbin had that real stock when he first came up.
Yeah, because I feel like Triple H was really behind him, right?
And then maybe attitude issues. That's what a lot of people behind the scenes are saying.
So I would think that I really want Finn to retain. Or I mean, not retain, but I mean, I really want him just to win, right? I feel like Finn will win because if you've looked at his singles track record, he's done pretty well on pay-per-views. Yeah. So I feel like he'll win. I'll give it to Finn on this one to win.
I think Finn will win this one, but maybe speculation later in the show. I'll throw
Unless
out
there's an interference or something happens where Constable Corbin gets it.
I'll throw out some things that are going on, I think, maybe prediction-wise. Maybe
some side throwing?
Yeah. Then we have for the U.S. Championship, the title that Jeff Hardy lost in 5 seconds to Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, that
These
was
two,
a shocker, right?
Because this story is interesting because Randy Orton's been off TV for like a week or two because of some instance behind the scenes of some allegations. situations that are going on.
Should we talk about that? Or
I don't know.
I don't know if we.
No, let's just. Maybe the link in the story later on.
Yeah, we can link the story. It's pretty raunchy.
And Randy's kind of had this reputation for a while.
Yeah, Randy's had a reputation, and so what it is the reason why Randy's been off the show is because some things have come up with the writers and Randy exposing himself.
Yeah,
and so speculation or whatever it might be, that's out there, and so writers have chimed in and said, especially Court Bauer.
Past writers.
Yeah,
too.
So this isn't uncommon for Randy.
Yeah.
So, but that's why he's disappeared, because these stories have surfaced.
But he could make his appearance tomorrow night because of some stuff.
Yeah, could be. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't really know how this match is going to play out. I feel
because we really truly haven't had a Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke match because of injuries from both sides.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, this is great just to see how this match unfolds, but I know Jeff's working with an injury, and so Shinsuke is sort of too, right?
Yeah, because that dog bite. I don't think
the dog bite. So I don't know. I wonder if they're just going to give us another surprise, like an interference kind of thing, and cut it short.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah. Daniel Bryan versus The Miz, which we've been waiting for this matchup for so long, but we had to wait because Daniel Bryan was getting back into ring shape, and to me, this match hasn't been talked about at all because of all the other things going on in WWE.
Yeah, I think with this one, I would think that Daniel would get over after all this time. I know Miz has been doing a lot of other things, reality show wise, and there's probably other projects in the pipeline for him. This might be a good way to put Daniel over and then get Miz on the way out so he can focus on other things.
I think Brie Bella shows up tomorrow night.
Yeah, in case
Maurice.
There's
I don't know, speculation wise, I think something happens tomorrow night where maybe in the future we do get a mixed match.
A mixed match, yeah, and those mixed matches were really popular on Facebook.
Yeah.
So that's another thing they're probably taking that into account as well to bring her. Yeah, I could see that too, but I definitely would pick Daniel for the W on this one.
Then let's go to the NXT woman, or not NXT, excuse me. I know SmackDown Women's Championship. Carmella the champion versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. As we talked about during that SmackDown segment earlier. Frenemies, and then the person they don't really like.
Yeah, and of course, they both don't like, the diva. So we've got women wrestlers versus a diva. I still want Becky to go over. I mean, I feel like Becky's been working a long time to get this, and that's why the fans are so invested. And that's why she has a following, is because we've followed her for such a long time, and she just needs to get the belt.
I get what you're saying, but I think Carmella retains it because of her ways. And I'm saying those ways are the Iconics, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. They're going to get involved somehow because we know they have history with Charlotte and with Becky, and they're kind of friends with Carmella. So I just think...
Do you think this could be the start of a new kind of where the Iconics get Carmella and
it's a faction a little bit,
and then it's a kind of like a faction thing? Because remember when Paige was around, and it was Paige, Becky,
well, we kind of still have that with Sonya and Mandy and a couple other tag teams.
And that's the faction that they have. But do you think this could be a build up on that? But who would they?
Well, Survivor Series is after this, so.
Right. So who would Becky and Charlotte team up with? Because I feel like Sasha and Bayley are kind of off doing their thing.
See, that's what I'm going to think in the future, because we used to see some members on Survivor Series compete with each other, but before Survivor Series there's Evolution, so I don't know what's going to actually happen. But I think Carmella wins, but I think this sets up in the future maybe Becky, Charlotte, Carmella, and somebody else at WWE Evolution for that championship. And
so you're looking for
Carmella to win,
Carmella to retain. And then we'll see that plan, that whole thing.
I know everybody wants Becky to win, but I think the writers in WWE, they're stubborn. I just don't think it's the time they give the fans what they want. I think, but somehow with this news of Peyton Royce, and
think about that. I think you're right. Now that I think about it, because Evolution is coming up, all women's pay-per-view, it would be more. Of a moment, more of an emotional moment if Becky won there, right?
Yeah. Then your prediction? Anything? You picked Becky, right?
I still picked Becky.
Okay. Yeah. Dolph for Seth Rollins tomorrow night, which they'll have some people ringside. Drew McIntyre with Dolph, then the lunatic Dean Ambrose with Seth, and a lot of speculation is Dean might turn heel tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is maybe Dean's turn to backstab Rollins, possibly. I think Ziggler's doing great for his run. I think he should just retain it because they are bringing back Dean, because this could give a different storyline with the friends turning on each other seems to work out so well, right? But that's the thing is Seth has turned on him before. So maybe it's Dean's turn, maybe it's not. I'm not really sure. He does have that heelish look with this new haircut, and there's the joke on the internet right now that we're seeing the phases of Triple H, right? Ziggler with the long hair, Dean with the shorter hair, the kind of Motorhead Triple H, the game. And then Bobby Roode as the corporate Triple H. So, this will be interesting. I'd love to see Rollins go over, but I might have to give it to Ziggler on this one for a win, just because of the two guys that are out there and for what may or may not happen on a heel turn, possibly.
I think Seth wins on Sunday night. Then I think somehow we get a fatal four-way in the future with all four of these people.
All four of them. That's interesting.
Because these guys, they're all workers, and I know it's speculation though, but I think Seth wins, and it's going to set up a feud for a while. Then maybe, I don't know. I still don't know what they're doing with Dean, but that'll be interesting to see tomorrow night. Then we got, I think,
does he get Renee to turn heel? 'Cause that would be great.
That'd be interesting. A lot of people wanted that. Then we get Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens for the Money in the Bank briefcase, which I think Kevin Owens goes over and cashes in. On
definitely
Sunday night.
We've seen this
before,
and we've seen it continue. Kevin Owens won that match because he got choke slammed off the ring,
and that started.
Kevin tried to off the cage. So I think I definitely could see Owens going over in this one. But then what do you do with Braun?
Yeah,
right?
see what do you do with Braun? Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen there. It's going to be interesting. Then. Oh, who you have winning, Kevin or Braun?
I would say Kevin.
I definitely
want. I still want to see Kevin. He's put a lot of time into this. He's put a lot of, additional promo work, and Kevin's promo work's always great. So
he's the one championship Vince could depend on Raw so far.
He's definitely the guy that's carrying this storyline. And Braun's a great worker too. But I just see Kevin doing more and going over on this one.
Alexa Bliss, Women's Raw champion versus Ronda Rousey. I don't think Ronda goes over here, but I
don't think so. I think Alexa's been doing a great job with poking fun at Ronda through these promos. I feel that she's really doing great with the heel tactics here. So again, we're gonna see something like somebody interfere, something.
Yeah, they're not gonna have a straight
happens. It's not gonna be a straight pin or submission or whatever it is. I think somebody's going to interfere, and then we'll just get the 1, 2, 3 real quick.
Because if you think about it, Vince is he could trust Alexa Bliss as a champion.
Yeah, and I don't see why not. She's had a really good run. She's had that belt for a certain period of time,
and both shows.
And on both shows, so I feel like her run is just going to continue. Unless Natty comes out and somehow.
What about Shayna though? But I don't think it's time for Shayna to come up.
I don't think. No, it's not time for Shayna to come up. I don't think. But that would be really cool, right?
Well, she needs a friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Ronda doesn't really have any friends. And we're not sure if Natty's going to be there or not. So Alicia Fox can really take advantage of this situation.
Well, Nia Jax hasn't been around for a little bit either. So
you're thinking Nia will kind of interject in this?
Yeah. I don't know.
Because she does have unfinished business with Alexa, right?
Yeah.
There's two friends that were la-da-da-da-da, and now they're like, frenemies again.
So, but both of us agree Alexa probably wins somehow.
I think Alexa continues to keep the belt.
AJ Styles, the best in the world, versus Samoa Joe. We've seen this before on different programs.
Different programs, different organizations.
But it's that classic feud still. I can trust you for how much long, but we can be friends, but I don't know. We're frenemies again, basically.
I think Joe wins, but I think he wins. Does this set up a program for a while? I think he does something to get disqualified, or he does something.
Oh, so he doesn't get the championship.
He doesn't get the championship, but I think he does something just to beat up AJ, just to beat him up. Like, it's not even about the championship for him.
It's your hero. Look at this.
Yeah. And so I was like, I just want to put you down, and I think it sets it up for a longer storyline.
Maybe at WrestleMania in the future. And, of course, probably won't get AJ in the main event. We all know what the main event's going to be.
Yeah, we all know. It's your
Brock and Roman.
Your buddy Roman, right?
I don't know who's going to win at this, but I think it's going to be interesting. I think Kevin Owens is the champion at the end of the night. I think Dean Ambrose gets involved, too. So
I think there's a lot of people that could get involved, but I think you're right. I think Kevin Owens is going to cash in on this either way.
Because there's been speculation.
Because he's held on to that briefcase for a while.
Yeah, Braun Strowman has. But yeah, you're right. But there's been speculation that Kevin Owens is going to work with John Cena in Australia. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here in the future with the Raw main event picture, because we all know, because there's a rumor out right now that Brock Lesnar's meeting with WWE's top brass right before SummerSlam on that Sunday, and whatever comes out of that meeting, Brock could keep the championship and fight in the UFC at the same time. But I don't see that happening. But I think something's going to happen that night where Brock is not the champion. And we all know Brock, he's not going to want to get pinned by Roman. So something's going to happen.
No. That's why I say I think Kevin Owens or somebody is going to come out here and interfere.
That's how Brock lost the last time when
somebody cleans his clock, and then definitely Kevin Owens comes to cash it in.
The WrestleMania that was in San Francisco or in San Jose, Santa Clara.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins cashed in that Money in the Bank. I forgot. Was it Brock Lesnar that was champion? Was it Brock versus Roman that night? No.
I believe so. You're talking about the WrestleMania?
Yeah. 31?
Mm-hmm.
That was Brock and Roman, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So we could see something like that again.
You could see that repeat again with Rollins coming in.
We know you have to... Brock kind of has to like you to let him beat you, because we saw that with Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that match didn't turn out that good at all.
But Ben, I don't know what else to say about anything else before we go tonight.
No, that is it. So we're getting phone calls, we're getting texts. We got to get out of the booth. It's getting crazy in here, and it's getting hot too, baby.
Any predictions though?
I predict that tomorrow will be fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantasia.
Yep.
Hold on 1 second. There's a lot of remotes here.
Come on, man. Why don't you just squiggle them things, click that mouth right there, and kind of wiggle your fingers a little bit?
Well, stay tuned. We'll give you some updates about tomorrow night, watching from ringside, and we'll give you updates. But Ben, it's been a pleasure as always.
Always a pleasure, Dustin. Peace.